got fired this week. Hello, if you're new around here, my name is Ellen and I work as a social media strategist. And the content I share online is all about the honest, unfiltered truth of being a freelancer and running your own business. And ironically, I decided I was going to do my own variation of a Vlogmas challenge this year. Literally 3 days after I decided to do that, I went through a pretty, let's say, challenging situation with a client and decided to end a contract early and refund someone $2,000. And I was sitting there like, I don't want to vlog this makes me uncomfy. But I always know that when I go through these sorts of challenges, part of it is because I get to teach you guys. I get to share my lessons on the internet, and I know these kinds of videos help so many other social media managers because a lot of the content on here is all about travel the world, be a digital nomad, social media management is amazing, uncapped income. And yes, I know I've made content like that, so I'm probably part of the problem, but I'd also like to think I share the other side of the coin as well. So in this video, I'm gonna take you on a little bit like of a video diary of the actual day that I decided to pull that contract. And I hope this kind of normalizes this, because trust me when I say this is normal as a social media manager, and also gives you some practical strategies if maybe you are also going through a similar situation. Going for a walk would solve all my problems. What is this? I need to go have a shower. I think one of the most underrated parts of going through this process of when a client ends a contract or you end a client contract badly, whichever situation it is like the impact that it has on all of your creative work. Like, I was just so happy editing away and just kind of disconnecting from my work. I cleared off some client DMs and emails that I had to do and was like, let me just have some fun editing. But then like it comes to posting that video and I'm like, is this video any good? And you start like doubting yourself. So it's literally been an hour of me sitting here like playing around with a thumbnail, being like, I should just not upload this video. I'm gonna upload it and it's probably not gonna perform that well. Like, I know that that's not just like me being super critical because of what I'm going through today, but it's not a particularly juicy topic. It's a bit of a different topic for me. But I've kind of forgotten what this feels like, to be honest, because I haven't gone through this with a client in years, and it's humbling. It is humbling. I just feel kind of empty, to be honest, which I think makes sense because this was a client project that was very mentally draining for 2 months. So I think if anyone else is going through something similar, you've just gotta be kind to yourself and understand you're not gonna bounce back after a walk outside. And we're humans and we feel emotions. My Odd Muse order arrived. It's like the universe knew I needed something today. I've still got the tags on this one, but a little bit of a sneak peek because I think I'm going to do a separate haul again. I'll link up above my previous Odd Muse haul in case you missed it, but I think this is my favorite. Look, these are pants, you can't really see. This is my favorite from the haul. We have migrated to working from the couch. We're doing what has to be done today and nothing more. And I have on the table over there, ignore also our picture frames. We haven't gone around to hanging those up, but I have sitting on the other table my nails kit to go do my nails once I've finished my Instagram post for tomorrow. and uploading my YouTube video. Also, I just took everything else off my to-do list and divvied that up across the next 2 or 3 days, because if you're ever stressed, look at your work with a really critical eye and you'll realize like a lot of the stuff you think you have to do and is an emergency can actually be done a little bit later, and you can take a break and you can create space for yourself when you're having a rough day. I'd just like you to know that while I look really presentable and put together, this is what my office actually looks like. Like I've just shoved all of the mess over here, so it looks perfectly tidy in the frame of the camera. Story of my life, everything is always more chaotic behind the scenes. It is now Friday and it's been a few days since I filmed anything for this vlog. I was trying to capture like the raw moments and kind of like what I do when I go through a difficult moment in business. But to be honest, I don't love pulling out the camera when I'm like crying. So that is what happened on Wednesday. Gosh, all of the days are just blurring together now. You know how you just get to a point where you're like, I've been through something really upsetting and I haven't cried yet. I just need to cry it out. That was what happened for the afternoon. I just like needed to get the feelings off my chest, and I honestly felt so much better after that. And funnily enough, I was filming a YouTube video, the previous one that I just uploaded, around like 5 lessons from 5 years in business, which you should definitely go watch if you haven't done so already. But I was filming that video, and while I was filming it, I was like, this is terrible. I've done such a bad job. I've rushed this, and now I'm also gonna be late to drop Ellie off at the airport. And I was just stressed and it felt terrible. And that was when I like had my little moment of crying in the car. And this is what happens whenever you go through a challenging situation as a social media manager with your clients, is it really knocks your creative confidence. And I came back to edit that video the next day on Thursday, and I opened up the video files being like, oh, I don't know if I can upload this. It's so bad, does it need refilming? And I started watching it and I was like, damn, this is good. Why was I freaking out? And this is just like clockwork. Every time I go through a process where I have some negative feedback from a client, like it hits your confidence levels. And it's really hard when you are a creative individual. You create your best work when you're most confident. I really believe that. Like the creativity just flows more when you're feeling good about yourself, right? But it was just interesting to have just a day's perspective and like have gotten that stress out of my system, and to being able to offboard the client and walk away from the project. Like there was an instant weight off my shoulders, and then coming back to the content that I'd been creating with fresh eyes, I was like, hey, Ellen, you're doing just fine. Like you were so good at what you do. Don't let anybody rain on your parade. So Thursday was just a day in my comfy clothes. I went to the gym, I did a workout, and then I just edited content all day for myself. And it was beautiful. It was perfect. And then today, I actually had the most of the day off. I just got back home at 3 p.m. after spending the day celebrating my mum's retirement. So she's a teacher, so we showed up at her school. It was like a surprise. They had a surprise special assembly for her and then a morning tea. So I went with my dad and my sister, and it was so fun to like surprise her. And then I went out to lunch with my parents. So the perks of being self-employed, I could just be like, you know what? None of this stuff is urgent. My YouTube video can go up late. Let me just enjoy this time. And that's what's also really helped me like process my emotions this week. Like I've been through this very specific, rare situation with a client where I've had to refund someone money and end a contract early, which literally, guys, this has only happened once in my entire career. And that was right when I was going full time in my business. And you guys know I went through a really awful, horrendous breakup, a 7-year relationship, pulled out from under my feet 2 weeks before I was launching my business, and it was just a lot to deal with emotionally. And there was one client who I was meant to do 2 stop motion videos for their Instagram page, and I only did one, and I ended up pulling out of the second one and refunding them. But it was like, I was getting paid $80 per video, so I refunded them $80. Like I had to refund a client $2,000 this week. Like that's a lot. And I was actually had another $2,000 in outstanding invoices with them for this month's work. So technically I left myself out of pocket $4,000. But I just want to say to anybody else who is watching this video and is maybe going through the process of losing a client, or you are thinking about it and maybe considering a refund of some sort, I just want to say how much better I feel now. Like if you were in a
situation that is bad for your mental health, $2,000 is actually not a lot of money to exit that scenario, to leave that situation, and to do what is best for you and your business and your mental health. I've been really listening to a lot of like mindfulness focused podcasts this week to just remind myself of that. And at the end of the day, I just want to say, like, your emotions, you have power over all of this stuff. Like, you have power over how you feel, and you get to have power over the narrative in your head. So it's really easy to sit here going, oh my gosh, I've failed. Does this mean my whole business is going to fail? No one's ever going to want to work with me. What if this client leaves a bad review about me on the internet? There's so many like worst case scenarios that you can jump to, but instead, I take it as a lesson learned. I take it as a beautiful opportunity. I can have a bit of a rant to some of my close friends and my family members about, what went on and what frustrated me. I also let myself feel all the feelings. Like I said, have a bit of a cry, have a bit of a day where I'm just moping about and just, all the self-care. But I also know that I can bring myself back to the positive stories, that I can come back to the fact that I'm hella good at my job, and just because this one client didn't agree with my approach to business doesn't make me a failure. I just want to get that message across to anyone else who might be struggling at the moment. I don't want to freak anyone out and make you think that this is super common and you're just going to go through the emotional turmoil of losing clients every single week. When I say it's common or more common than you think, it doesn't mean it happens all the time. But funnily enough, when I was going through this week, I had another social media manager pop up on my Instagram, and she'd posted on her close friends, which I'm on, and she had mentioned how she was offboarding a client that day because they had basically been sending her 15 voice messages a day. They had insane expectations, and it was just a horrible situation to be going through. And this is another social media manager that I admire so much, that I would look at their content and I would never guess they would be going through something like that behind the scenes. And I think people are beginning to be more open about this stuff online and realize, actually saying that I've lost a client isn't going to hurt my business. Like, the right clients will want to work with me. For someone like me to just see another social media manager going through the same or similar thing as me in the same week, like, it was just such a breath of fresh air. I've definitely stepped away a little bit from socials this week to help with my, recovery. Oh, that sounds really gross. Not recovery, but just to help with my mindset and just to chill and recharge. I guess that's what I mean. Your battery is drained when you go through emotional situations like this. So recharging, stepping away from socials a little bit more, watching a lot more YouTube, some of that longer form content, some just feel good vlogs, some educational videos on mindset. That is the kind of stuff that I'm drawn to when I'm in these kind of challenges. How many times am I going to say challenges really suspiciously in this video? But if you were in this boat, one of the recommendations I would make to you is to really just get off TikTok. TikTok, Reels, doom scrolling, all of that kind of stuff, it's not going to make you feel better. What did make me feel better was actually just getting back stuck into my own creative work and creating stuff just for me, for the fun of it. And also focusing on my little gratitude list. So instead of having a to-do list at the beginning of the day, I had a I get to do list. And that really inspired me a few days later to get back and start filming videos again and start making content, because I had to reframe it in my head. Instead of being I have to go make a video, it was I get to make a video. How cool is my job? I get to go to my studio that I own, my second business, and I get to film in this beautiful space with my amazing camera. How lucky am I? So reframing is a great tip for you. I'm not going to spill any sort of juicy tea here on the scenario that I went through with this client. It just wasn't a very positive environment for me to be working in. Despite going through and, doing my sort of red flag tests throughout the discovery process, it wasn't until a few weeks into the project that those red flags started to sort of appear. I don't like sharing stuff like this with like in the moment with clients or challenges like this, because I know that I'm a lot more heated and emotional about it. And I know that I can better educate you guys and share the lessons from it, where I'm when I'm a little bit more distant from the project. So the intention with this video is to show you how I get out of these lows and these challenges as a business owner and the kind of strategies around that.